It's time to confess. My entire life is a goddamn mess. This is the Fight Guy. I'm your host, Guy Hurt. UFC 316 just a couple days away. We have the press conference tonight in a few hours. Can't wait to see what Merab can do with the microphone. There's a lot of questions. Is Merab going to dominate O'Malley again? Is Pena, going to fold to Kayla Harrison? Pena's kind of a bitch, too. Want to say that. I will give some clarity as to why in just a few seconds. I'm going to break down the entire card, give you my full predictions, who I think is going to win, who I think is going to lose, as well as what this card has on the future impact of the UFC. Some bold predictions there. Before we break down all the fights, let me let you guys know let me give you a little insight why Pena's such a bitch. Okay, and if you're rooting for her, you should feel guilt. Let's go ahead and play this clip first of Kayla Harrison describing some childhood trauma. We'll leave it at that. Let her take this away. Listen to this.
I feel like God gave me this story for a reason, and it's my job to use it to try and make the world a better place. So I want to talk about it because we all think that sexual abuse happens in the Boy Scouts, but my son's not a Boy Scout, or it happens in the Catholic Church, but we're not Catholic, or gymnastics, but no, none of my kids do gymnastics. But 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they're 18.
That's just the ones that they talk about. Much respect to Kayla Harrison for talking about this topic. She's got a platform. She has an ability to shed some light on something not a lot of people want to talk about. So props to her. What a great person, right? Right? What a great person. Now let's bring it to Julianna Pena with Nina Drama's interview, and the amazing interview she does over there. Check this out. Oh, whoops. Not supposed to see that yet. This is Pena talking about how Kayla Harrison has no friends. Let's go ahead and play this. Very high quality stuff here, fellas. Very high quality stuff. Check it out. Look at the look on her face when she talks.
They all, you sabotaged all of them, and they can't stop hitting me up. You know what I mean?
What a bitch. And here's a live photo of her friends. She was referencing in that video all the friends that she has. She has a lot of friends. Very popular. Wow. Also, another classy clip coming from the champion. Check this one out, guys.
Tacos and I like tacos, but I prefer sausage. You know what I mean?
It's a UFC fighter, the champion.
I want a big German sausage.
Yeah, Julianna Pena's just a huge bitch. Kayla Harrison's absolutely going to ragdoll her. Not to spoil the predictions, but it's going to happen. We'll get right into it. Full card breakdown. We'll start with the early prelims. We'll work our way up to the main event. I like to switch it up. I'll hit my bold predictions at the end. On top of these fight predictions, let's go ahead and get started. Mederos taking on Mark Choinski as the prelim opener. I think this will be a pretty good fight. I believe this is going to be Mark's UFC debut. Mederos, I think he's coming off of a split decision win. Who did he go against? Against Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard's pretty good. He's pretty well-rounded. He was an Ultimate Fighter finalist, I believe, last year or the year before. I watched that season. It was pretty good. A split decision win, at 28 years old against a veteran like Austin Hubbard. I got to go with what I know. I haven't done a whole lot of research on Mark Choinski. It's been a bit of a hectic week, but I'm still not going to miss. I might not have as much details as I normally do. I'm not going to miss. Mederos, I believe he's going to get a decision win over Mark Choinski. Mederos, I believe 6 of his 10 wins are knockouts. The rest are decision. Mark Choinski, I think 5 of his wins, about 5 of them are submission. Let's check that real quick. Yeah, 5 submission, 1 knockout, so he's got 2 decision wins. Hasn't fought the caliber of opponents Mederos has fought, and Markel's slightly younger. I'm going to go with Mederos to get the decision win. Not going to put too much thought into this. Not something I would bet on. Should be a good fight to open up the card. We move on. Quillan Salkid taking on Yanal Ashmouz. I went back and forth on this one a couple times. And it looks like, from the looks of this card, majority of the favorites, I think, are going to win. I want to go with Quillan Salkid. I don't think that his stoppage over Anshul Jubli was legitimate. I do think he probably could have gotten the finish, but how many instances have we seen of UFC fighters getting rocked, getting dropped, look like it's about to be the end, and they come back and win? That being said, it was a fast knockout within like the first 15 seconds of the first round. I don't know. I'm not going to credit. I'm not crediting Salkid as much as I am Anshul Jubli for having a terrible chin. Yanal Ashmuz, he's Israeli. All right, he's from Israel. I think I'm going to go with the Israeli to win here via Talmud law. I think he's fought a little bit better opponents. These guys are pretty balanced. Salkid does have a decent reach advantage, but I haven't really seen his takedown defense get legitimately tested. I question his grappling. He is Australian. The Australian guys, as of lately, have pretty phenomenal jiu-jitsu. There's really no other way to put it. JDM, Volkanovski, and I get it. This guy's not even ranked. How can you compare him? But still, they got some scrappers over there in Australia. That being said, I don't think that he's banked enough time in the grappling department. I think Yanal is going to pull off an upset here. So I'm going to go with the underdog here. I'm going to go with the Israeli. I'm going to go with the anti-Palestine protester. We're going to go with Yanal via Talmud to get the victory. I do think that he is going to get a decision win, 29-28, but we could see a finish. We could see a finish in this fight. Salkid could very well knock him out, but I'm doing a bold pick here, going with the Israeli. We move on. Third fight on the prelims, an Indonesian fighter, not known for their fighters in Indonesia, more so known for their scuba diving. Jekka Sargi taking on Ju Sang-yu, I believe. Oh, it says South Korea. I thought he was Japanese. Okay, he has fought, he's 8-0. But what have we seen, with undefeated fighters this year? We've seen most of the time the undefeated fighters are losing than they are winning so far this year. A lot of fraud checks, a lot of upsets. That being said, I think this is his UFC debut. If not, this is also Ju Sang-yu's UFC debut. I went through his resume, checked out some of the records of the guys that he's fought in the regional scene. Not that impressive. Half of them don't even have winning records. That being said, I'm going to go with the undefeated guy. That big case that I built up just now against undefeated prospects in the UFC, I'm going to double down on that. I'm going to go with the undefeated fighter making his UFC debut, only because he's not Indonesian. If he was fighting literally almost anybody else, probably would go the other way. I don't think Jekka's that good. And nothing else to really break down on that fight. Kind of some yawners to start off the card. We move on to what I think will probably be the best fight on these early prelims out of these four so far. Ariane da Silva taking on Wang Kong. Bang-a-Gong, baby. I love Wang Kong. She put on an ass beating earlier this year. Check it out. Against Bruna Brazil, I believe her name is. That was an ass beating. Wang Kong did amazing. I think we have the potential for both the women's fights on this card. There's 13 total fights. I think both the women's fights are going to end on a finish. I think Wang Kong is going to knock Da Silva out. She's technically sound with her striking. Her grappling is there. It's legitimate. She's a young, hot prospect, and she's in the development stage for sure, but I think she's a lot better than some of these other girls that are coming up. So we're going to go with Wang Kong to get a second-round knockout. That's my pick. She might not knock her out. It's a women's fight. It could go to decision. All right, the statistics say most of the time it's going to go to decision, but Wang Kong, Bang-a-Gong's built different. I'm telling you, I think she'll find a finish. We move on to a fire fight. We were supposed to get this guy last week, but due to his opponent, I believe, passing out or something at weigh-ins, hitting his head, something like that, we get him this week. Khaos Williams is taking on Andreas Gustafsson, who I believe is making his UFC debut. I think he's only got a Contender Series win. Yep. Round 2 knockout in the Contender Series. He really fights like a Viking. He does fight like a Viking. He not necessarily, he's swinging left, right hooks nonstop with all the power he can, but he's just in your face. He'll grapple, he'll clinch with you, force you up against the fence, and just work his game, take his time, which, we'll see how that plays out against a guy like Khaos Williams, because you probably don't want to fight like he did in the Contender Series fight against Khaos Williams. I think he'll get put to sleep. That being said, This is his UFC debut. Khaos Williams, I think he's coming off of a submission loss earlier this year. He got put to sleep by Gabriel Bonfim back in February. I remember that one. He was napping. I think I have a TikTok or a YouTube short of that. Nonetheless, I think Khaos Williams is going to bounce back. It'd be different if he was coming back from a knockout loss. It's a submission. He got put to sleep. A little bit different. I think he's healthy. I think he's ready to go. I think he's got a bitter taste in his mouth, and he's going to take it all out on Andreas Gustafsson, who will be wearing a UFC debut patch, I believe. Yeah, he should be wearing a UFC debut patch. We're going to have a few of those patch wearers. I think Khaos Williams is going to get the knockout. You can see here he's got about a 4-inch reach advantage, 3.5-inch reach advantage. I think his takedown defense is pretty sound. Going up against guys like Bonfim. He was looking good against Bonfim before he got darsed, I believe what it was. It was a darce choke. I'm going to go with Khaos Williams. I think he might even be able to get a round 1 knockout. Gustafsson does have a chin on him. I saw him eat some hard shots in his Contender Series fights, but he just kept going forward. He looks like a welterweight version of RoboCop. I think it'll be a good fight. It would be cool for Gustafsson to win. I like him. I want him to do good in the UFC, but I think Khaos Williams is just going to get it done, man. This guy's like the Francis Ngannou of the welterweight division. On his feet. He could strike. We move on. Heavyweight bout. Sergey Spivak taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. This fight I've went back and forth on a few times. You can see the stats here are pretty balanced. The guys have the same reach, similar height, except Cortez Acosta does have about 30 pounds on Spivak. On Sergey here. The polar bear, I believe he is. He's really good with submissions, Spivak is. Acosta, he's never been submitted, and I don't think he's been knocked out either. Yeah, so he's got 7 finishes, hasn't been finished. His only loss is via decision. But the quality of the last few opponents he had, Ryan Spann and Despionage, who was cut from the UFC. I don't know if Spann's cut yet. If he's not UFC, let's get into that. We're slacking, cutting the wrong guys. Sergey Spivak, I think, is going to win this fight. I think that's who I picked. Let me check. Yeah, I got him via decision or via submission. I think he'll be the first person to finish Acosta. If he doesn't, I think that control time is going to add up, and it's going to be favorable in the judges' eyes. So we're not going to overcomplicate this. Sergey via decision or submission. If this fight ends in a knockout, I think it's going to be Acosta that gets it, but I don't think it will. So we're going to move on. Light heavyweight match. Azamat Murzakanov taking on Brenson Ribeiro. Like I said, I don't think very many underdogs are going to win on this card. The Azamat, he is undefeated, 14-0. Undefeated prospects haven't been too hot this year, but I don't think this is a great matchup for Ribeiro. Azamat, he's got some knockout power. 10 of his 14 wins are via knockout. He has 1 submission. In his last 5 fights, only one of them went to decision, and it was a win against Dustin Jacoby, who is a legitimate light heavyweight. We saw him get a knockout win just a few days ago on the Barber card. Macy Barber, Aaron Blanchfield, when Barber didn't show up. Sorry about not having a breakdown for that fight. Been busy, but we're staying on topic here. Brenson Ribeiro, I'm picking him to win via knockout. He's got a 10-inch reach advantage. I think, it's going to take Azamat some time to be able to close in the distance. But I could be wrong. He could just snatch Ribeiro down, and then that could pretty much be a boring decision fight. But I think this fight's going to end in a knockout. One of these two guys is definitely going to sleep. I'm going to go with the underdog here again. 2 bold underdog picks on the prelims. I think Brenson Ribeiro, he really needs this. I mean, if he loses this fight, he's probably... Okay, he does have a win on my birthday. That's why I'm going with him. He submitted Dayar Nurgalaze from Kazakhstan on my birthday. It was the first time this guy's lost, first time he's been finished. He's just defeated an undefeated fighter. I think he's going to do it again. Mainly picking him just because he got a submission on my birthday. My birthday is March 15th. He submitted this Kazakhstanian on my birthday. That's all I need to know. Brenson Ribeiro, he's been through the fire. He's faced adversity. I think Azamat needs to get humbled. These undefeated fighters aren't hot this year, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go with Brenson Ribeiro to get a knockout win. I don't see this going past the second half of the second round. We move on to the last fight on the prelims. This could very well be fight of the night. I am very excited for this fight. Bruno Silva taking on Joshua Van. This is going to be a slugfest, man. Joshua Van, 12 years younger. They have the same reach. They're pretty much the same height. Joshua Van lands hard shots in every single fight he has. He's going to hurt you. You might beat him in a decision, but he is going to hurt you. Bruno Silva, he's tough. He's gritty. We saw in the Kape fight, he hung in there until the end, which I was going to play the clip. Maybe I'll throw it in. Kape, right before he finished Bruno Silva, he did kick him clean in the cup, and the ref didn't stop it. It was all honestly high IQ on Kape's side because I think he knew that he hit him in the crotch, and if he pressed, maybe the referee would be under pressure to not stop the action. That being said, he was losing that fight regardless. He did have some good moments. However, Joshua Van is the man. I saw him last fight, I believe, in March when I went to Vegas. Yep. Yeah, he beat the Japanese prospect, which was a great fight. A lot of people were counting him out for that one. I think Joshua Van is going to get a knockout win. All right. If not, 30-27 via decision. Joshua Van, he is just very elite on his feet. He's developing just fine. He's moving his way up. I think after this fight, we could possibly see Joshua Van getting a ranked fight next. Maybe on a main card. Maybe on a main card of a pay-per-view later. Put him on San Antonio, maybe. The San Antonio card, which I'm going to go to. Staying on topic, we're moving on to the main card now. Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Trailblazer Holland. I love Kevin Holland. You guys know this. I'm a huge Kevin Holland fan. And Kevin Holland does very well at welterweight. This fight would put him back in the rankings, which is one of my bold predictions, is we're going to see Kevin Holland in the top 10 of the welterweight division by the end of the year. This guy's very active. He's very good in the welterweight division. When you look back at Kevin Holland's resume here, his past fights, most of his losses are via middleweights, which this last loss, a submission loss to Renier de Ritter, basically a light heavyweight. RDR is a huge middleweight. Then he gets knocked out by another middleweight, Roman Dolidze. Sure, the Mikhail Oleksiejczuk fight was at middleweight. That was a fun one. But yeah, I mean, his last welterweight loss was to Jack Della Maddalena. Right? And then, yeah, he got knocked out by Stephen Thompson. But you look at these wins. These are in welterweight. And then most of these losses are up at middleweight. Kevin is a very good welterweight. I hope he stays there. I think that he is going to be too much for Vicente Luque to handle on the feet. You try to take him down. His jiu-jitsu is underrated. Sure, he got submitted by RDR in middleweight. I think when it's guys his own size in the welterweight division, he could more than hold his own. I believe he's like a third-degree black belt. I'm not the damn jury. I'm not the judge. I can't tell you, oh, he's really a third-degree black belt. I could tell you for sure he is a black belt. He's very slick on his feet. He trains about an hour west of me in Fort Worth. I think he's going to overwhelm Vicente Luque. I think we're going to see a first or second round finish via knockout from Kevin Holland. I like Luque. I don't want to pick against him. I just think with the reach advantage, with the striking technicality that Kevin Holland has, and he just mixes it up so well. He's almost kind of like a JDM on the feet. Let me check. Did he go to decision with JDM? Let me just check real quick. Did he get knocked out? Yeah, he went to a split decision with Jack Della Maddalena. See, he is a solid welterweight fighter. I think he's going to take care of business Saturday. He's going to beat Vicente Luque. Put money on Kevin Holland. We move on. Bantamweight fight, second fight on the main card. Mario Bautista taking on Patchy Mix. I don't know very many people picking Mario to win this fight. Mario's very well-rounded. He's got some great wins under his belt. He's won all in his last 5. What's his win streak? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in the bank account. 7 straight wins. Before that, he was coming off of a knockout loss to Trevon Jones in 2021. Hasn't lost a fight in 4 years. I think this is the year he's going to lose a fight. I think he's going to get submitted by Patchy Mix. I'm sorry. That's my official pick. I'm going to go with Patchy Mix. I think he is everything that Tatiana Suarez, his lady friend, isn't. I think he's better. He's a great submission grappler. I believe how many of his wins are? Let's check him out. I think he's got 13 submissions, 2 knockouts. So he's finished, of his 20 wins, he's finished 15 of those. I think we're going to add another finish in the column here. I got Patchy Mix via round 2 submission. We could see it earlier. Let's see how he gets Mario down. He's got to handle the leg kicks well. If he checks the first few leg kicks that Mario throws, he's going to be able to close the distance. No problem. But Mario's got crazy leg kicks, just like Aldo. We move on. Middleweight bout, Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joe Pyfer. This was the fight we were supposed to get in Mexico. If you remember, it fell through due to sickness. Joe Pyfer had a whole lot of things to say about Mexico and their country. None of it was nice. I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer. Just being from Philadelphia, just being a true, I don't want to say white trash, but I mean it in a nice way, just a white trash son of a bitch. He's going to get in your face. He's going to make it dirty. I think he's got the knockout power to put Gastelum out. When's the last? Gastelum's never been knocked out before. He's 2 in his last 5, hasn't fought in a year, and he's coming off of a win against Daniel Rodriguez, who I think he was looking bad at the time. Since about a year ago, Daniel Rodriguez, I think he's got 2 wins. He's looked a little bit better, but this was like a low point for Rodriguez. I'm not giving Kelvin as much credit as I am Daniel Rodriguez just being shitty in the later end of his career. Joe Pyfer is going to get the knockout win. Bet on Joe Pyfer to win. Pyfer, Holland, Patchy. There you go. There's your free parlay. Should be plus money. We move on to the co-main event. All right, this fight I'm very excited for. Huge Kayla Harrison fan. I believe she should be the one fighting Merab Dvalishvili. But nonetheless, they're going to give SUGA Sean an undeserved rematch. Julianna Pena just being a complete bitch this week at Media Week. Excited to see her microphone skills at the press conference tonight. She's fighting Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison, 2-time Olympic judo gold medalist. She was an absolute dog in the PFL or Bellator, I believe she was. Yeah, PFL. In the UFC, her 2 fights in the UFC so far, UFC 300 and 307. She's got 2 wins, one of them via sub. I think this is going to be another submission win for her. I think she's absolutely going to ragdoll the Mexican-American Barbie, Julianna Pena. I think she's going to get judo thrown on her face, maybe a little ground and pound, gives up her back. Kayla Harrison's going to get the submission via rear naked choke. Remember, you heard that here. It's going to be a rear naked choke submission. She's going to get Pena out of there with. I don't see this fight going past the 3rd round. Honestly, I really hope Harrison has a sense of urgency and just takes this bully out, because that's who Pena is. She's just a bully. The way she talks, her body language, the points that the things that she brings up when she goes back and forth with Kayla and other opponents, it's just like, it just feels like a mean schoolgirl. That's all Julianna Pena is. I look at her as a bully. I don't like bullies. Bet on Kayla Harrison to take care of the business, to take the trash out, bring the bully to the schoolyard. She's going to get a submission win. We're moving on to the main event. Merab Dvalishvili taking on SUGA Sean O'Malley in the most undeserved instant title rematch in recent memory. O'Malley, I think there's a lot of good prospects in the bantamweight division. They're going to give O'Malley the instant rematch. Whatever. I don't really care what happens as long as O'Malley fights Corey Sandhagen next, which if he loses this fight, Corey's probably going to fight Merab, which would be cool for Corey to win and then fight Sean. But we'll see how long that takes to develop. Merab Dvalishvili, this fight just feels different. It feels opposite of the first fight. Like the first fight, Sean was talking a lot. Merab, he was on the come up. Everybody was starting to like Merab more and more and more. He was doing fun stuff, fun interviews, fun skits promoting the fight, trying to get Sean's attention. We haven't seen any of that this go around. Sean has been humbled. Absolutely, you could say that. I think that I do really like Tim Welch. I do believe he's one of the best coaches in the UFC, and he pretty much focuses 100% of his time just developing Sean. I feel like they fixed all the holes, or most of the holes, in the first fight. Sean's key to victory this match is to not get taken down, and if he gets taken down, to get right back up. He can't play the guard game. Don't try to submit Merab. Don't try to, keep him in your full guard. He's just going to ground and pound you, hold you down, and win the round via control time. If Sean O'Malley can keep his range, I do believe we can see Merab Dvalishvili get knocked out. And this guy's got a chin amongst chins. Look at that. That's just despicable. 19 wins and only 4 finishes. The guy doesn't get knocked out. He's got a chin made of the same shit that Superman's allergic to. You can't get Merab out of the ring. I've seen countless videos of him getting dropped earlier in his career, like looking like it's all over, looking like if you had the right ref in there, they would have stopped it a few times. But the guy is what his nickname suggests. He is the goddamn machine. This guy gets up and he keeps coming. But if there's anybody in this division that can knock Merab out, I think it's Sean O'Malley. I do. And I think, I think this fight may even go into the championship rounds. I think we may even see a late knockout. I don't see Merab making a mistake early. I see him maybe getting frustrated that some of his takedown attempts are getting stuffed, maybe aren't landing. Maybe he's struggling a bit more against the cage and clinch positions where he's normally good. I think the frustration is going to force a mistake out of him later in the fight. I think we could see a round 4 O'Malley knockout. Maybe round 3 O'Malley knockout. He was looking better and better the first fight near the end of the fight. So, I don't know. He's already got 25 minutes in there with Merab Dvalishvili. He's got a feel. He knows what to expect. Merab, I don't want to say he's one-dimensional, but he is. He's one-dimensional, very good in that one dimension. He is the emperor in the 1D world. But Sean O'Malley, I think we see this one-dimensional world come to a crumble. I think we see the two-dimensional world get introduced. We see Sean O'Malley look a lot better this fight, land a lot more strikes, touching him up, and then the power shot's going to come later in that fight. I think it's going to be like a right hook or something. He's going to put Merab down. So that's my predictions for the card. I have some bold, predictions I'll just recap on for the future of the UFC, what this card means. Before I hit them real quick, if you don't mind liking this video, it helps me a ton. Just give me a thumbs up. And subscribe if you're new here. You want to see more stuff like this. I'm going to have a fighter interview coming up this summer. Just been a bit busy. But, I have a few bold predictions. I've already stated one of them, a couple of them. I think, first off, both the female fights on this card, they're going to end in a finish, which I don't know how long it's been since we've seen that. I want to say we've seen it once or twice this year. All the women's fights on this card, which are only 2, I think they're going to end in a finish. You don't get that often. That's my first bold prediction. My second one, Kayla Harrison is going to begin her Merab Dvalishvili run, except with a little bit more finishes sprinkled on top. I really think she is a force to be reckoned with. She actually cuts weight. She's an Olympic gold medalist in judo. A lot of these girls aren't that skilled in the grappling game at not Olympic level. I think Kayla Harrison is going to start a long title run here for like 4 or 5 title defenses. We'll see. I hope she absolutely ragdolls Pena. I really can't stand her. SUGA Sean is going to take the belt back. This is my third prediction, right? I already said he's going to win. He's going to take the belt back, and we're going to get the trilogy. We're going to get the Merab Sean O'Malley trilogy. You heard it here first. We're going to get the trilogy hopefully after the Sandhagen fight. I want to see the Sandhagen fight first. Maybe if Sandhagen wins, we'll see SUGA and Merab go at it for the first contender spot. Maybe Corey fights Merab again. Umar's still lurking around, so you got to ask yourself, if Sandhagen does make his way up to the top, does Umar get a rematch? But that's my third bold prediction. SUGA is going to get the belt back, and we're going to see the trilogy of Merab, SUGA, Sean O'Malley. And my fourth bold prediction here is going to be Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, which I've already stated earlier in the video, he's going to be a top 10 welterweight fighter by the end of the year. Maybe even better. Maybe like number 5. Maybe he works his way up to number 5 with how active he is. We'll see. That's what I got for you guys. This has been The Fight Guy. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you with a recap. Of course, I'm recapping this card as soon as possible. I'll try to get it uploaded on Sunday morning before you guys wake up. But it's going to be a great card. It's going to be a great card. I'm sticking tuned for the press conference this evening. You shouldn't miss it. Merab Dvalishvili is going to absolutely bomb like it's a comedy open mic. This is The Fight Guy. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the flip side.